Oh, shit. God damn it. My camera's not there. God damn it. Good morning, good evening. Woo! Good morning, good evening, or good afternoon, depending on where and when you're watching this broadcast. I'm Thomas Fessler, my friends, and this is Disclosure tonight. Yes, we've got a great show ahead for everybody tonight. Yeah, I screwed up that one. Camera wasn't on. I thought it was, but you know what? Let's go ahead and get past all this intro and let's welcome our audience. Who the hell do we have out there? Let's go ahead and take a look and see who's there. All right, we've got Brains. Captain K is here, along with Daryl is here. Digger Dog's out in the audience, along with Eliza Teal. I see Firefly. Geraldine DeRazio's out there. J Cat Meow. We got Jay Mua, Kathy 1944, and Kelly Bro with those piercing blue eyes. Good to see you as always, Kelly. Let's move that up there. There we go. Who else we out there? We got J Cat Meow. Jets Journeys out there, along with Jay Mule, Kathy, King Bull, Megan Betts, Meninopolis. Haven't seen you in a while, my friend. Nathan Force is out there, along with Razzmatazz. We got Robert Vargas, Rodney Cox, Rough Reddy is there, along with Sam, and Scooby Dooby Gooby. We got Shelley Montgomery, Shrooby Dooby Doo is there. Stephen Forbes, along with Steve Hines. We got Stephen Mateo, the Super Unknown. The Wasteland's out there, along with Turtlehead 420, and our dear friend, all the way from the United Kingdom, Yellow Tommy Tanker. Good to see you, my friend. Long time no see. On that note, let me go ahead and jump into the studio and welcome everybody to this episode of Disclosure today. Yeah, I changed up the picture a little bit. Sometimes you need to do that. We've got a fun evening here tonight. A bunch of little UFO news things to talk about. Some crazy things happening all around the world. My God, we got separation going up in Alberta. We got craziness against free speech happening in United Kingdom. Oh God, we have so many. We got the crazies going up in Minneapolis. My God, we're going to cover everything UFO news. You better believe it. And yeah, eventually we'll be branded to Late Night Update as we get more into that, because there's not a lot of UFO news happening on a regular basis. But what are we talking about here today? What's going on? Let me look at the top of the list and get to it. Oh God, I want the stream settings. Where is this at? I need my title. Okay, so one of our first stories we're getting into today is talking about the AARO disinformation complex that's out there. It's an interesting one. I just need to find the tweets that I've kind of got out there. No, that's not it. That's not it. Oh, that's not it. That's a good one. I know it's in here somewhere. No, bookmarks. We'll get to it. So has everybody had a good day? Did you have a good weekend, I hope? Hopefully your Sunday was a nice day off for all of us. Oh, where in the hell is this at? Son of a bitch. Okay, here we go. Coming to us. The FOIA that exposed how AARO manages the UAP narrative, the most important revelation in the FOIA case. What are we talking about? Well, yes, we know that AARO is a machine that's there to catch and collect all information about UFOs in the federal government. But wait, there's more. Yes, they're more there to control the narrative of what's going on. Let me make sure there we go. With the message that's coming out is more important than anything. What am I talking about? Let's get into it. In this first story, coming from some things that happened by the headphone salesman, Mr. John Greenwald over at the Black Vault, came up some interesting things. Let's bring up this message from Susan Goff that was put out there under FOIA request. Let me get to this. Where am I at? Up only.
Can I ask you, John Greenwald sells headphones?
Yes, he does.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. How about that?
I guess we need headphones.
Yeah, it's better than sex toys, I guess. That's what a lot of people, the rumors were for the longest time.
Yeah, I'd go with headphones probably if I were him.
Even Matt Ford brought that on his channel one time where they had poor Mr. Grant. Well, let's not get into that. Let's talk about the substance of the situation we're going on. In this initial FOIA released document that's out there coming from Susan Goff, our dear, wonderful lady who loves to keep an eye on what's going on here at Disclosure tonight, especially, Mike loves how she's such an erection killer. Let's get into it. Media colleagues off the record for planning purposes only, not for day books. What are they talking about? You are invited to participate in an embargoed invited media roundtable with Tim Phillips, acting director of AARO, on Wednesday, March 6th. probably talking a couple of years ago, at 3 p.m. Eastern in the Pentagon briefing room on AARO's Historical Record Report, Volume 1. Just a key for everybody to know we never got Volume 2, even though we definitely deserve it. Apparently, it's still classified. The initial volume of the congressionally directed historical record report on U.S. government UAP-related programs. The roundtable will be on record and off camera and embargoed until the DoD announces the public release of the unclassified version of HRRV-1 on Friday, March 8th. Those who would agree to the embargo will be sent a copy of HRRV-1 on Wednesday morning so that you have time to read it prior to the roundtable. The report is also embargoed until DoD announces the public release of the unclassified version of HRRV Volume 1 on Friday, March 8th. We expect that to be in the morning, and a more definitive time will be provided later. What we're talking about here, Daryl, is having a, what do you want to call this? Having a press conference with invite only, where they're releasing information that's going to be coming out to from the federal government, more importantly from AARO, about the historical report. They're giving it out to reporters ahead of time, letting them get into it, but they're not allowed to say anything or release anything until after the Pentagon comes out. Now, as far as I know, the federal government and everything should be relatively open to bringing out the truth. But, let's get into this. All right, in this article coming to us over on X from Skywatch Signal, the most important revelation in the FOIA case, F-240895, has nothing to do with the alien craft, exotic materials, or non-human intelligence. What it exposes is something far more fundamental and way more revealing: how the U.S. government manages the UAP conversation itself. Yes, friends, this is about managing the conversation, not actually the facts that are part of the conversation. All right, let's get into it. The FOIA doesn't leak secrets or contain dramatic claims. No, what it does is document process, and in doing so, it shows that the modern UAP disclosure is not an open exchange of information. It's a controlled rollout, carefully staged, long before the public ever sees a single page. What we're talking about, friends, is, yes, that thing that we have heard many times called controlled disclosure, and it's in act in our federal government right now. Now, what does this shit show? Well, it's a final response issued by the Office of the Secretary of War, Joint Staff, to a request filed by John Greenwald Jr., whose work through the Black Vault has documented government handlings of UAP for decades. The request sought records related to how UAP information, specifically AARO's historical reporting, was communicated. What came back was not a sensor data or intelligence files, but something we would say is way more important: internal correspondence about media coordination. That's about, if you want to call, controlling the narrative, which is something that Susan Goff, in her ability, in her prior experience to go ahead and control the narrative through PSYOPs, has great experience with. At the center of it is AARO, the Pentagon office, repeatedly presented to the public as a neutral fact-finding body, which we know they're not. The documents show that neutrality is not the full story. No. The off-the-record briefing the public was never part of. That's right, on March 6, 2024, almost 2 years ago, before the public release of AARO's Historical Record Report, Volume 1, the Pentagon hosted a private invitation-only media roundtable. It was led by Tim Phillips, the then acting director of AARO. That's before we got our current guy. Attendance was restricted to select journalists. I believe that even Christopher Sharp reached out to see if he could get into this, and he was denied. And only one journalist per outlet. No recordings or public transcript were allowed. Most importantly, participants were required to explicitly agree to an embargo before receiving the report. I call it preconditioning and not transparency. Daryl, your hand is up.
So it says only one journalist per outlet, but I could have swore in the email that you first showed that there were two New York Times reporters or people.
There may have been two New York Times people that were there, but only one from that agency was allowed to attend. Again, no recording or anything. You can attend, you can listen. Not even sure if we allowed them to take notes. It doesn't sound that open to you, does it?
No, it wasn't open at all. It was only open to the media who, well, who's the media these days? I mean, I'm not sure. I don't know.
That's a good question. We'll get to that shortly. Why this changes the disclosure conversation? Well, an embargo briefing is not a neutral setting, friends. No, it's a framing mechanism. It allows an agency to explain how the report should be interpreted before anyone else gets to read it. It gives journalists context that the public does not have. It establishes boundaries as to around what conditions are considered to be quote unquote reasonable before public debate even begins. By the time the report was released, its narrative has already been set. Yes, folks, AARO is not reporting history, it's shaping it. AARO has consistently portrayed itself as an objective resolver of anomalies, a neutral referee separating fact from fiction. But FOIA 24F 0895 shows that isn't the case. AARO has actively involved how its conclusions are received, not just what those conclusions are. And by the way, mods, if the trolls are out there, use the El Kabong, please. I'd appreciate it. Sparingly. Just use as much as you need. You've got those wands for a reason. By briefing journalists ahead of time, setting embargo conditions, and leading the conversation in controlled environments, AARO ensures that its interpretation of UAP history becomes the default interpretation. All right, I'm just keeping an eye on the screen. No national security exemptions, just message sensitivity. Again, remember, Susan Goff was put in control of the entire narrative going to the public about UFOs. If you have a request for the for the Department of Education, for the Department of National Resources, for DHS, for the Pentagon, for the Air Force, for anywhere in the federal government, all responses have to come from one person, Susan Goff, and that is not an accident. It's on purpose. So one detail in the FOIA response is really revealing. The redactions applied cited FOIA exemption B6, which protects personal privacy. There are no national security exemptions invoked. So the sensitivity here is not classified information, folks. It's process. The when, and the how journalists were briefed. In other words, the government isn't worried about what the public might learn. It's worried about how the story is told. Now, why could transparency ring hollow here, my friends? Let's get into it. AARO's historical record report was presented as transparent. A good faith effort to settle decades of UAP questions, but transparency isn't just about releasing documents. No, that means absolutely nothing if they don't release them without pre-framing the conversation. No. This is how you need to interpret this. This is how you need to look into it. And potentially, if you don't go along with our definitions, we're not going to let you in here the next time. We're going to call you in. Now, when a report is introduced to select media behind closed doors before the public even sees it, the conversation is no longer neutral. No. The report doesn't arrive as raw information as it should. It then becomes interpreted information. That is more important than anything else, especially when the same report is later cited to dismiss whistleblower testimony and long-standing claims. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Daryl. Didn't they throw the whole issue that went out there with Commander Robert Salas and the Maelstrom incident and say it was something else, that it wasn't, just trying to take that incident and the whistleblowers who came forward and the incident and make it sound like nothing?
I don't know about that. Salas has never been before Congress, right?
He's met with Congress members personally, but he has not testified in front of Congress. That's correct.
Right. But I do remember that, like in the very first very first congressional hearing about this, somebody, it may have been Burleson, included or asked to include his testimony about his experience into the congressional record. So I don't know. You're saying something. Who's saying that this Salas is being, his story is being
in the initial historical report, they came up with reasons to dismiss what happened at the Maelstrom Air Force Base. They said it was a training exercise. They had this other, energy systems that were there that they were going through, and that was actually what they witnessed. And the whole thing about UFOs going ahead, coming in and disabling our missiles and shorting out a circuit in each one of the missiles, that never happened. Ed?
Well, I think that's a bunch of BS. They couldn't have been doing a training exercise and shut that down without creating considerable havoc for the whole system.
Right.
I think Salas was right. They did not know what caused that. The investigations afterwards never came up with an answer as to what caused it. And now they're just trying to come up with some excuse so they can say it wasn't a UFO. It was a glitch or a training exercise or whatever.
Yeah. All, bullshit excuses, Ed, if you ask me. But, that historical report, volume 2, was due last year, and we never got it, and people haven't been pushing for it, have they?
Well, but look what we got with volume 1. I mean, it was nothing, so to speak. They just threw that out with just to fill the square, I think.
Yeah, it's like the result of Operation Blue Book, huh?
Yeah, it reminds me, what AARO's doing reminds me a lot of Blue Book. I mean, I think ultimately the government's position is we need to stop all this from leaking out, or, leak out a little bit at a time or whatever. But they're the ones that are controlling the narrative on how much is going to leak out. And it's just like Blue Book. They're going to try and find ways to explain it naturally without having to bring in, NHI or
excuses are like assholes, and everyone's got one, especially the people in the DOD.
Yeah, well, that's true. Yeah. I don't think we should expect much from them in the future either.
No, you know what? I keep on saying this lately, and I've been saying it for the longest time. The report we got out of the UAP task force that was headed up by the U.S. Navy was the most complete report, the most honest report we got out of the federal government ever with regarding UAP. Everything else since then, they turned it into the AOI MSG, then renamed it into AARO, and the Pentagon came out and said, we're not going to give you regular information. We're not going to give you a pulse update of updates. We're going to go ahead and do our own thing, and we're leaving the public alone. But really what AARO was turned into is really the disinformation agency to go ahead and take all the reports, everything else that's out there, and just calm it down, take the stuff that's prosaic, release it, but the stuff that actually has meat and potatoes, keep it under deep national security.
Well, it's real easy to do that by changing the name. Look at what Matthew Brown did with Immaculate Conception, or Constellation, and after that came out, they tried to deny that it didn't exist. They said, we don't have anything by that name. Well, it's real simple. You just change the name.
Right. Did you once have something in that name? But then again, that name could be classified, and it's something they could never even acknowledge.
Yeah, I agree.
It's a mess. So, FOIA 24F 0895 doesn't stand alone. This is the same old thing that we have seen repeated since 2017 when selective disclosures, tightly managed confirmations, controlled congressional briefings, and now documented media press pre-briefings. AARO sits at the center of the choreography as the gatekeeper. There is no other way of looking at this. They are curating and controlling information before it gets to the public. Why this FOIA matters more than in sensational claims? Well, people often chase FOIA releases looking for smoking guns, which you'll never find, crashes, bodies, or secret programs. These documents are rare and always heavily redacted. This FOIA is different because it shows how official reality, what's given to the public, is constructed. It shows how conclusions are introduced, normalized, and reinforced before the public ever has a chance to evaluate them independently. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff out there with regards to what's going on, and clearly there is a there, and our federal government doesn't want us to realize what that there is there, eh, Ed?
That's right. Well, another thing, too, that I think we have to take into consideration is we say it's similar to Blue Book. But the difference is in Blue Book, the American public bought the answer. They believed that they were getting all the information in Blue Book, and the government was really looking out to help them out.
Yeah.
Now with AARO, those of us that are in this, fraternity of ufologists, we don't believe AARO anymore. There's no credibility coming out of AARO, so they can continue to say we have no proof of any kind of extraterrestrial life or any kind of non-human intelligence, no proof at all. And yet there's thousands of documents that form together to make the truth.
Yeah. It's a shit show, to say the least, Ed. We want the truth to come out, but it seems like everything is stalled, and it looks like 2026 is going to have even less things going on it than it happened in 2025, which was a hell of a year, and 2024. But before that, it seems like the further we get along in time, Ed, the deeper, the thicker the cover-up goes.
Yeah, well, you kind of set me up to say, well, remember September, like I did the other day.
Yeah.
This is accelerating what we're seeing now, and I think arguably, we're in January. By September, the way stuff is kind of leaking out from researchers, not from the government, but from us. Mm-hmm. I think we're going to be real close to it in September.
I hope so, my friend. I hope so, and it's just a matter of looking at the truth and everything that's out there, just taking a little bit of look of what we're heading towards in 11 days, Ed. You know what happens in 11 days?
No, I don't.
Artemis gets launched.
Yeah, you mentioned that earlier.
To go around the moon.
No one's following that, are they?
No one's following it at all. Let's jump across. Let's play this little clip here of some stuff in the background.
This is why we don't have a lunar program.
Yes, 11 days, my friends, until we're going to go ahead and see the new capsule that was developed by Lockheed Martin, which has a horrible, shield on the bottom. Let's hope the astronauts survive re-entry into the planet. They've changed the re-entry, if you want to call it, angle to go ahead and make it less, less intrusive, because scientists at NASA have been, if you want to call it, speaking up that they don't like how the shield that is on the bottom of the Artemis capsule is gonna survive. Now, interesting enough, we have Northrop Grumman is actually the company. Actually, Lockheed Martin is the company that created the capsule itself, but we have a bunch of other contractors from Boeing to ULA, United Launch Alliance, and others that are all part in the other parts of the rocket. My only concern coming into this, hold on, I'm going to mute this person. Hold on. I'm going to remove from the call. Disclosure bouncer. Block from the call. I don't like that name. Sorry. Whoever disclosure bouncer was, they're out of the back.
It's your place, man. I mean, if you don't like a name, you don't like a name.
It doesn't seem, it seems dirty.
Yeah.
Thomas, did you let them in?
What? I didn't, someone let him in.
I didn't.
It wasn't me.
I don't know who it was.
Couldn't have been. You're not a mod. A host.
Maybe somebody else, but I bounced him.
Well, you bounced him, but there's only me and you as meeting hosts, and I didn't let him in.
Oh.
I didn't get in.
Oh, I have a feeling, well, you never know where that could have come from, but either way.
What if it was Mike renaming himself?
I don't know. Well, whoever it was, the person got in as the disclosure bouncer, and I kicked him out, and I didn't know what was going on. Maybe it was someone who's coming in to help. You never know. We'll figure it out. Back to the Artemis program.
I think so. So
yeah,
because I know I didn't let him in, and I didn't see you let him in. So
typically at this point, somebody would have posted in the YouTube chat that, hey, you kicked me out.
Yeah. Oh.
Some of the comments are pretty funny.
Well, yeah. Well, hey, Thomas, I have an idea who it might have been.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm wearing too many hats just trying to get through this shit. Anyway, so we're getting back into the moon. We're going to go around the moon, have hopefully everything.
Just pictures on the backside.
Yeah, they can take some pictures on the dark side of the moon, where they've had Chinese rovers around there for almost years now, Ed, eh?
Well, I don't think they're sharing their information with us, though.
They do share some images, video of the dark side of the moon.
Have you seen anything would indicate that it
No.
was other than natural?
I don't see anything different than any other side of the moon.
Well, I'll tell you what we've got to watch out for. This
Son
applies
of
to
a
any of
bitch.
these YouTube videos we're seeing now, is the fakes are getting so believable.
You
I
think?
watched one today that basically putting words in the mouth of Charlie Duke that he never said. But it looks so believable.
Charlie Kirk, you mean?
No, Duke, the astronaut was on Apollo 15,
Oh,
16. Charlie Duke.
yeah.
And he basically was saying that he had said that he was seeing lights, blue and purple, different things, and also hearing some things that didn't make sense. And then I ran that through AI and basically found out that it had been faked. It wasn't really him saying those things.
Right. Let me get into here. Let me see if I can figure this.
Some of the astronauts did report some sort of like a. Well, I think they described it as like singing, right?
That's right, on the backside, and they all felt it. And what NASA's position was, it was an interference between the two capsules, or the one that was on the moon and the one that was orbiting. That doesn't make any sense either. Of course, usually when these excuses come out or the explanations come out from Sue Goff or whoever, you kind of say that just doesn't pass the common sense test.
Right.
Yeah. Always a bunch of problems, I tell you. Always a bunch of problems. Let's go ahead and move along with the situation. I got taken off guard here. Let me figure out what's going on in this stuff we're getting up to next. Let me get back into the studio. Stop worrying about that. Let me get to the interview guest. Yeah, we got a bunch of other additional things to go ahead and talk about here today. Let's get to it. 1 second. Let me find the next one we're going to cover. Okay, this is an interesting piece coming to us from the Liberation Times. Reports that multiple unnamed sources. Let me get this into here. Where am I at? Okay, let's get to it. Liberation Times report that multiple unnamed sources and whistleblowers allege that former U.S. intelligence leaders James Clapper and both Stephanie O'Sullivan, who's been implicated before, she's such a beauty, oversaw a secret CIA USAF UAP program during the Obama era involving the detection, shoot down, and retrieval of purported non-human craft. Let's jump into the story coming to us from Christopher Sharp over at the Liberation Times. He's a great friend of the channel. Let's go ahead and see what Christopher Sharp is bringing to us today. All right, the story just came out 2 days ago, but let's hit it. Multiple sources have told the Liberation Times that during the Obama administration, senior intelligence figures James Clapper and Stephanie O'Sullivan oversaw a program relating to unidentified anomalous program within the Office of the Director of National Intelligence. Now, if you ask me, folks, we're talking about a golden opportunity to go ahead and find people to bring forward as witnesses for your next congressional hearing. That would be Clapper and O'Sullivan. The sources allege that the effort involved the shoot-down and recovery of exotic vehicles thought to be of non-human origin. This is something Lou has talked about. 3 separate sources told the Liberation Times that Clapper allegedly ran the program alongside O'Sullivan dating back to his tenure as Undersecretary of Defense for Intelligence from 2007 to 2010. Oh, that's when I voted for Obama twice. During that period, O'Sullivan led the CIA's Directorate of Science and Technology before being promoted in 2009 to become the agency's third most senior officer. One source alleged to the Liberation Times that Clapper and O'Sullivan oversaw a program called oh my God, Golden Domes. This is before Trump and his Golden Dome, which the sources claim was jointly run by the CIA and the USAF, where Clapper previously served. The source fully alleged, I can't get over that golden domes, that the program could detect and track UAP even when cloaked, and as they physically manifested. The same source claimed that the program employed a mix of electronic and laser-based capabilities intended to bring down what the source described as exotic non-human vehicles. God, so what is the problem to acknowledge there's a non-human intelligence here? Oh yeah, it screws with religion, it screws with government, it screws with everybody. Let's just do it. Come on. Sources were unable to offer Liberation Times a clear explanation for why the U.S. government would choose to engage UAP, including whether or any such actions were taken routinely in specific circumstances or in relation to any potential understandings or rules of engagement involved in any other purported non-human factions. I just have to ask the question to the audience, to the panel in the back. How many times do you think, is it less? Is it more? Is it more than not? That we actually tested nuclear weapons, not to test the payload or what was coming out, but was to blow up the nuclear bombs to make the UAP appear. Daryl, what do you think?
There was some recent something out there, some recent whistleblower. Trying to think who it was. Maybe it was on
Elizondo.
No, I think, well, maybe he said something, but I was thinking more like Jeremy Corbellish kind of a person, talking about how they were aware of using them, like nuclear weapons, as a way to snag a UFO. In other words, they would come, they knew they would come. It was like using them as bait.
I know Elizondo wanted to set something up where he was trying to bait the Tic Tacs with somebody.
Yeah, and that was at Norfolk, as I understand it, Chesapeake Bay area. They were going to try to get a nuclear-powered sub in there and a nuclear-powered cruiser in there and see if he could pull them in that way.
Yeah, I don't think there's any way possible that the people that are in the government in these programs aren't aware of UFOs' attraction to nuclear stuff. So I could totally believe that we have a spider's web with a nuclear weapon in the middle of it.
Well, just to finish that out, though, Lou was never given permission to do that. So that test never occurred. It would be interesting to see what would happen if you did concentrate those nuclear.
Well, don't forget, President Trump has said he wants to start testing nuclear weapons again.
Yes.
And could that test go ahead and be part of not just wanting to test the nuclear weapons and to show our strength, but to also go ahead and do the test and check our new directed energy weapons to see if we can go ahead and take out the non-human intelligence craft?
Yeah, or maybe to use as a digging mechanism in Greenland for rare earth minerals.
You never know. You know that actually Greenland as a continent is actually surrounded by mountains, and it's like a bowl, and in the center of the bowl is where all the ice is.
Interesting.
Yeah. Interesting geography. We think of it as a giant slab of ice, but it's kind of a giant slab of ice in a giant bowl.
A bowl of ice.
Yeah, which takes longer to melt. Jay Albertson from MUFON, Massachusetts, another mass hole in our audio and our back channel. Jay, what say you? We had another mass hole, used to be here all the time. We miss him. Go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, I was just going to say that, well, Trump needs to have Greenland because of the fact of the Golden Dome system. There's that many rare earth minerals there. We take control of that. We have all the rare earth minerals. We can make the Golden Dome system pretty good, pretty well. Then we also have the oil coming out of Venezuela. So now we're self-sufficient. Well, not self-sufficient, but we have our stake in the oil there now in Venezuela. So we're doing pretty good.
What's more important in Venezuela than the oil?
Coffee.
There's silver reserves.
Oh, yeah, there's that.
Too. Yep, that too. But it's more lines of the U.S. consolidating onto itself more earth minerals so we can be more self-sufficient, more than relying on other countries like, Japan, Taiwan, China, whatever, for rare earth minerals.
Yeah. Well, I guess it comes down but they're finding rare earth materials everywhere. Hell, if you look at the Salton Sea down in Southern California, there's a huge amount of rare earth materials that are there for going at lithium and other stuff for going ahead and creating EV-type batteries. But what we're really missing is that cobalt, the stuff that they use all that child labor in Africa.
Oh, yeah.
That's a necessary evil for EV batteries.
Yeah, it is.
Yes. So let's get back into this a bit. I've jumped a little ahead in the story here. Notably, former NSA Administrator Mike Rogers has recalled an interview that while serving as Director of National Intelligence, Clapper unexpectedly ordered him and his team to review the NSA's files to provide everything related to UFOs. Upon becoming nominated as Director of National Intelligence by good old Barry Obama in 2010, Clapper was described as having developed close ties to the intelligence community during his long career and is particularly close to senior managers at the CIA. Fast forward to 2011, Clapper recommended that President Obama nominate Stephanie O'Sullivan as Principal Deputy Director of National Intelligence. Before her nomination, O'Sullivan served at the CIA's Associate Deputy Director from December 2009 to February 2011, working alongside the Director and Deputy Director to provide overall leadership of the agency with a particular focus on day-to-day management. Unfortunately, it appears that good dental care was not part of the federal government at that time. Before that, she served at the CIA's Deputy Director of Science and Technology for 4 years. The interesting part about this is the Director of Science and Technology is one of those positions that's not appointed by the president. It's one of those positions at the CIA that holds back all of the information about UFOs from getting to the public, to the people like Clapper who are appointed to those positions. AJ? Yes, absolutely.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's a position. It's not controlled by the president, so he has no say in it. So then, therefore, it's going to be out of his purview.
Right, and they say that the directors of science and technology, those are the ones who are there who actually control it, and they actually prevent the people who are being, if you want to call it, appointed by the presidents to run like the CIA or different areas. They don't share the information above because they view those people as temporary employees.
Yeah, because they don't have a time limit in these positions. They're appointed. And then let's say the president does come up and say, well, I'd like to know. And they're like, well, no, you can't know. Well, we'll take you to court. Okay, we'll just wait you out for 4 years.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all they would do.
Exactly. So now let me jump on for this a little bit. She continued to be involved in coordinating UAP retrieval missions and safeguarding technologies derived from UAP-related research carried out by the Department of War and its contractors. One thing to remember, in 1947, shortly after the crash in Roswell, we got the National Security Act, and we got the CIA, and we got the Air Force, all put in play to help deal with the situation of those flying saucers, also known as UFOs. Now, based on the best available open source information, previous deputy directors of the CIA's Director of Science and Technology goes back to 1963, all the way up. If we look at Stephanie O'Sullivan from 2005 to 2009, and who do we have next? Glenn Gaffney. He's been called out many times as one of the people who are, within the cover-up of UFOs. But beyond Glenn, we've got Dawn, and then Todd Lowry, who's the present person in this position. Now, in his book, Fact and Fears, Clapper writes that he knew O'Sullivan's reputation as a brilliant technical engineer. And then CIA Director Leon Panetta put her forward to him as his deputy, someone who could help cover his blind spots when CIA-related issues arose. Clapper describes the day of O'Sullivan's confirmation to PDDNI as a title O'Sullivan jokingly referred to as P. Diddy. I wonder if she got the baby oil to go along with it. as an extremely happy one. Their working relationships with the Office of the Director of National Intelligence was extremely close, and Clapper has written that he learned to adopt Stephanie speaks for me even when we haven't spoken. O'Sullivan entered the intelligence world after responding to a cryptic newspaper classified ad seeking an, quote, ocean engineer, end quote, that moved her led her to TRW, the defense contractor absorbed in Northrop Grumman. Yeah, TRW used to be based out of Manhattan Beach, California. How do I know? My sister and brother-in-law used to work for them and used to deal with the Aerospace Corporation a lot. Yeah, Star Wars stuff, my friends. And later, the Office of Naval Intelligence. Liberation Time sources allege that Northrop Grumman's Tejon Ranch radar cross-section facility in Southern California is a site where UAPs are routinely retrieved. So apparently they must have had stuff going on there that got the UAP's interest and brought them in even more for them to go ahead and bring them down and exploit their technology. Since her retirement from government in 2017, O'Sullivan now serves as a member of the Board of Trustees. There we go. The Aerospace Corporation. I just mentioned those fuckers. And is on the board of directors of the Battelle Memorial Institute. Who is Battelle? They run all of our fucking national labs, at least 80% of them. And when was Battelle?
We've got Jake Barber also that's still incorporated with the Aerospace Corporation.
Yeah. There you go.
It's still it's a round robin. If you're incorporated with them, you still have contracts with them, so you're still going to abide by what they tell you.
Yeah. Absolutely. So Battelle and the Aerospace Corporation have both been referenced publicly in connection with the UAP programs. Now, talking to my brother-in-law, Michael Lukic, about this, saying, hey, when you talk to the people and dealt with them from the Aerospace Corporation, did you ever talk about anything about UFOs? He came back as a no. However, you never know what kind of security protocols may still be in place. Sources, we're talking about the guy who actually worked on the guidance systems for the MX missiles. That's where he had like 10 warheads that were delivered with one payload, and they'd all split off and go do their things.
The mini warhead with the advanced sensor packages for each one. They have separate targets that they can hit. They
had like 10 missiles in one, and all of them had separate things that they go off and do. Yeah, and that was one of those babies that he worked on.
That's almost like the Tony Stark one that they had hitting the mountainside, with all the little missiles.
Oh yeah.
Except this one is actually guided to like hit a extreme target wherever it wants to go. Well,
it could come down to Southern California and take out all of Southern California with one missile.
Yeah.
Because they all split apart and go to different places. It's a nasty one.
Yep.
Not only did that, he actually developed the system to keep stabilization happening that we have right now in the ISS. Where you have an action-reaction, you have the counterbalance that goes on. If movement happens in one place, it goes to the other spot and counters the reaction to keep it all stable. Yeah, that was my brother-in-law who developed all that stuff.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Awesome.
He went on from there to go ahead and work at Caterpillar in their automation that they had going for all the big machines that they had moving around, where you could have one central control communicating with all the devices over lasers and then have them remotely moving around within a job site.
Oh, that is so sweet.
Yeah.
I just want to throw out here, Battelle has a long and sordid past in South America as well. And, with all the stuff going on with the Varginha stuff currently, it's just something I guess to think about. Battelle has been an ominous organization in a lot of countries in South America, basically working for the U.S. government, by the way.
You think?
Yeah, I know.
They're part of the cover-up. Supposedly, that's where the first crash materials from Roswell went to, was Battelle. They're right next to Wright-Patterson Field.
I can believe it.
Yeah.
I thought they're in Columbus, I believe, aren't they? Which is probably 100 miles away.
Yes, they're in Columbus.
Yeah. Let's move on. Sources also know that O'Sullivan sits on the board of HRL Laboratories, formerly Hughes Research Laboratories, part of a wider Hughes Corporation legacy that is closely associated with Hughes Glomar Explorer, the vessel later linked to the CIA's effort to recover a sunken Soviet submarine. Sources have told Liberation Times that Stephanie O'Sullivan has been questioned by the Senate Select Committee on Intelligence about her alleged role in UAP. The sources further allege that she has misled committee members, including then Senator Marco Rubio, now Secretary of State, by nervously claiming that she had no involvement. Allegations of kinetic engagement have surfaced in other contexts. In written testimony submitted to Congress, journalist George Knapp relayed what he said was he was told by figures linked to former Russian Ministry of Defense's UAP program that Russian fighter aircraft were dispatched to intercept UAP on numerous occasions. In a smaller number of cases were ordered to fire. So Knapp wrote that several alleged incidents in which aircraft subsequently crashed, a standing order was issued instructing pilots to disengage and leave the UFO alone because, quote, they could have incredible capacities for retaliation. In other words, you fuck around, you find out, eh, Daryl?
Could be, Thomas. And I as you were going through all this, I'm thinking about the newly formed Board of Peace. What if Greenland had? I mean, this is like in some scientific fiction novel, I would hope. But Greenland has something to do with the UFOs coming to Earth. The Board of Peace is going to be negotiating peace.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just sorry, and I have a Trump fantasy land thing going on in my head. I apologize. That's for later.
We'll see where it all goes. You never know. You never know where it's going to go, right, Daryl?
That's 100. That is what you can absolutely count on.
100%.
There was one word in that report that really jumped out at me when they said that she was initially responding to an ad for an ocean engineer. Just wondering, could that in some way be an emphasis because now we're starting to look at sea-based possible UAPs? Do you think? I mean, if Tim Gallaudet's right about all this, there's probably a lot more activity in that 80% of the ocean that's never been explored. That may be what they're really looking for the future now.
Do you have any reason not to believe Tim Gallaudet? Admiral Tim Gallaudet.
Yes, Sci-Fi Channel.
What's that?
A Sci-Fi Channel appearance with his wife.
Oh, no. What? What are you talking about?
Okay. Never mind.
What? Oh, did he do that? Are you saying
yeah, they did that. Yeah.
For what? Like paranormal stuff?
Paranormal stuff, daughter, people getting attacked in the house and the whole thing. Yeah.
Well, I don't think that ruins his credibility, though. I mean, it just means he has interest in the subject, which has been the problem we've had. A lot of these senior military people and politicians never believed in UFOs, and so they never got on board. But Gallaudet's been kind of interested in it for quite a while now.
He's also got a location that he wants to go explore. Like he would love to put together an exploration thing to one of those tubes or something. You know what I mean? I don't know exactly where it's at, but he discussed that in his Graves interview.
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't mean to toot my own horn here, but I got a hold of Tim Gallaudet, retired Admiral Tim Gallaudet, and he'll be on my podcast actually coming up in the summer for when his new book comes out, Holding Fast in Heavy Seas.
Oh wow, very cool, Jay. Can't wait to see where it goes.
Oh man, give me some good questions to ask him, Thomas. I know you got some good ones I could ask him.
Yeah, well, definitely. We'll get to it.
I'll let you know what it is.
Yeah, definitely, my friend. Yes, talking about underneath the sea and different things that are going out there. Yes, this is a site that I've brought everyone's attention to, and it seems a bunch of people are all talking about it today. If I can go ahead and find it here. What am I jumping into? Yes. Let's get to it. All right, coming to us from the open-minded approach, someone who looks at the changing of the magnetic poles and what's ahead of us is jumping into, yes, off in the middle of the Indian Ocean, there are giant Paleo-Brahmi Sanskrit symbols engraved into the middle of the ocean. Indian Ocean, right at the place where the Tamil people claim their lost continent, Kumari Kundam, once existed. Not only that, at that location, in this particular area, it's over 30 miles wide. There are massive symbols on the ocean floor that look like Sanskrit that are approximately, each letter is approximately 3 miles across. This is something I discovered about 5 years ago. I brought up to many ocean archaeologists trying to figure out what's going on. It's inspired some, but if we go back out of this post and go back to someone who I saw earlier in my list of things, yeah, they're going to go ahead and zoom in, and this is exactly, friends, where it's at. It's on a ridge, and that's what you're looking at. You're looking at something that's out there that's clearly not. It's not, how do you put this? It's not a natural phenomenon when we're seeing this kind of stuff on the ocean floor. It's
got structure to it.
Yes.
It's got structure and symmetry to it. It's not a normal formation you'd find like like the waves are pushing it one direction. It's got some kind of symmetry to it.
My question is going to be is why is the rest of the photo blurry?
Because it's part of the ocean survey that's going on in that area, and that's the only place where they have higher levels. Basically, what we're looking at is we're looking at a whole bunch of different ocean surveys from different systems that have gone and dragged stuff across and using sonar to pick it up. It's different surveys that have happened, and the areas where it's very clear and clean, that's where there's an actually survey that went over that particular area that picked up the detail. So that's why in some areas you're seeing it's actually blurry versus the areas where it's clear. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. A lot of this information was go ahead and found when they were searching for MH370, and they brought out massive amounts of imaging technology to go ahead and find this stuff. Now, there is a new initiative in place called Seabed 2030 that by the year 2030, which is, well, less than 4 years away at this point, my friends, they're going to have a complete high-resolution image of the entire ocean floor. I can't wait to see where that goes. Now, if these guys would actually look closer around this area and take a detailed survey of the overall area, there are structures that look like pyramidal shapes. There are also things that look like human shapes. That could be pareidolia or anything else, but there is a lot of stuff, not just these letters around this area, that people can go ahead and find out. Again, if you want to go ahead and find it, you just need to go ahead and go to Google Earth, look for the Cocos Islands, the Cocos Kneeling Islands, and go directly to the west, and you'll run into this particular area that's out there. It's phenomenal. I go hunting on different parts of the ocean floor on a regular basis. This is something big. Not only that, this actually comes very close to where when you zoom out and take a look of where the North Pole, magnetic pole, and South magnetic pole are going to meet, it's almost at this exact position, almost like it's a warning to humanity for the future.
Either that or it was advanced civilization back in the time that built it on ley lines and energy lines like the Great Pyramids and the rest of them.
You know, this is about 1,500, this is about 1,000 feet below water, which means when this was actually created was during the middle of a, if you want to call it, ice age.
Yeah.
All right, where else?
Incredible though to think about that there was somebody built that.
Oh, I know. Let's jump into our next piece here. I got a bunch of stuff about that we can go ahead and show. All right. Not that. Was this the one? That's not the one. All right. I've got a little clip here of from Alchemy American coming out and talking with Dr. Kevin Knuth, who's a physicist out there. He was involved in the initial Terror in the Sky project. We had a bunch of people go out to the islands off to the west of Catalina Island off of Southern California. And when they went out there, they went and they observed almost something they saw tear in the sky and all these things going on. Now, the initial data for that was supposed to be released over 3 years ago. Guess what? The data is still embargoed at this point. Why? Let's hear some of the stuff, at least what Kevin's talking about. Not about that, but what he's bringing up about the Tic Tac and what was actually happening, and a lack of understanding about what's dealing, because we're still trying to look at this with regards to craft moving within our atmosphere versus craft that are going ahead and warping reality around. And they're not moving in our atmosphere, they're moving through it, where reality wraps around it. So let's play this little clip here from Kevin Knuth. Where am I at? Let's get to this here. All right, here, let's listen to Kevin.
This thing was 1,100 gigawatts, right? But then the other problem is power. If you look at energies and power involved, the amount of power for that Tic Tac
Can't hear it back
dropping is something.
Wait a second, hold on. I'm in Chrome. I'm in the wrong browser, and our friends in the back can't hear it. No, we're not going to. Give me a second. Let me go ahead and find it here. I have it here a second ago. Sorry, people. Just give me a second. Let me get to it so we're back and hear this as well. You get to this one from Kevin Knuth to bring it up again. 3, 2. All right, here we go. Thank you for reminding me about that, Jay. Here we go.
And power.
Turn the volume up again.
This thing was 1,100 gigawatts, right? But then the other problem is power. If you look at energies and power involved, the amount of power for that Tic Tac dropping is something like, what was it? Was 1,100 gigawatts of power. You know, you remember Back to the Future with Doc Brown, 2.1 gigawatts, like that's crazy or something. This thing was 1,100 gigawatts, right? Yeah, so this is more power. The Tic Tac maneuver took more power than the total nuclear power output of the United States.
Wow. Wow.
And that's in that Tic Tac, in the size of an F-18. I mean, that's crazy. And so now how do you get your head around that?
Well, let's get our head around this one and talk about it. The reality of it is, if we're talking about a craft moving within our atmosphere, in our atmosphere, right?
Yeah.
That craft going from 28,000 feet down to 50 feet in a fraction of a second, coming to a stop, right? He's saying this, and they're not jumping into a fireball like... what's his name? Like Avi Loeb wanted to say it would have to, and even Kevin was saying that it would need to. That's using the knowledge and understanding of our known physics. But if we're dealing with something that's not our known physics, if we're talking about a craft, if I can find it here, bookmarks, let me get back to this one here. If we're talking about our craft, right, that comes into our reality from another dimension, wrapped around that craft, right, is a warp field or something that keeps this object that's tied to its dimension that it came to us from, right?
Exactly.
Now you have this gravitational field. We have no idea how much power it's going to take for that warp field to be in play. If that stuff goes what's in play and moves from here down to here, it may take not that much more energy of it just falling from that point to the other point, meaning that we're trying to apply our known physics models for what happens on Earth to craft that are coming to us from another dimension. And what are we saying? That these craft are coming out of a dimension, right? Once they're in our dimension, they're moving at a rate that's, how do I put this again? That's out of our time space, our time, meaning that we talk about people who get stuck in the UFOs, right? They go into them. They're there for 20 minutes. They come out of it. 4 hours has passed, which means we're dealing with a different dimension of time, right?
Oh, yeah, exactly.
They talk about people, they talk about when they go inside the craft, it's 80 feet across, right? But when they go inside of the section that they're in, it's bigger than a football field. which means it's running a different dimension of space.
Yeah, time exists differently inside of the bubble that you're talking about.
And so does space.
That's what's happening.
Right. So now you've got these craft who are popping in from another dimension, right?
Yep.
Once they're in our dimension, they're moving at an accelerated rate through our time, making all of us move like they're moving really slow because they're moving at a different rate of time.
Either that or they're not even moving. They're just appearing and disappearing at one spot and appearing in another.
Or if they're moving along the space, they're moving in a different dimension of time.
Yeah, exactly. Or, skipping across it.
Right. And when they're done, what do? They go back into their dimension where they're from, which means almost like we're almost looking like a loop going on, right? Meaning they're popping in, they're doing their stuff, they go through it at a faster rate, and they pop out again. They go through it and they keep on doing this again and again, almost like they're trying to change our timeline, Jay, to get to their desired outcome.
Yeah, it could be that, or we are part of the roadway, and this is the connection point between some other systems.
Yeah, it very well could be.
Other things, but there's so much out there.
Yeah. Well, in this next piece I want to bring up, I saw this from Richard Geldrich yesterday, and I verified it. I saw a post from a now deleted X account, Infinity Disclosed, on my feed. You know what Infinity Disclosed is? That's Gene Sticko. He's vanished from X. He's gone. He's done.
What?
Vanished. Poof, he's gone.
Why?
I don't know.
Have you talked to Gene?
We've reached out. He's gone.
What?
He's pulled out of X. He's pulled out of everything.
Wow.
Yeah. I wonder who knocked on his door and convinced him to take a break.
Damn.
What?
Yeah.
Is his website to his book still up?
Yeah, it seems to be. But if you go ahead and go to his X account, Infinity Disclosed, and I search for it, no, go to x.com/
Wow.
This account does not exist.
Wow.
Is he taking a
they
break
got
from
him.
the X or
I don't know.
I hope he didn't get a knock at the door because of his material or something.
I don't know. I don't know. But it's something that's out there. I just wanted to go ahead and bring to everyone's attention because this was brought to my attention from Richard Geldrich yesterday, and it's something that's kind of there. It's just like, holy shit, what happened to Gene? He's gone.
Yeah. Wow.
Just like that.
You got his number?
So, Richard Geldrich saw a post from Gene on his feed. Strange. Russian UFO doc drop. This document is the certificate from the Institute for Space Research of the USSR Academy of Sciences, dated June 25th, 1980. This is part of the Soviet Institution research program into UAP George Knapp testified about in September of 2025. The 1980 Academy of Sciences certificate is foundational documentation from the SECA-AN program. The Thread 3 documents explicitly reference this origin point, stating that, quote, purposeful scientific researchers of the abnormal aerospace phenomena were started in the Soviet Union in 1979 with the beginning of the work of the program, quote, Network-AN, SECA-AN, in Russian. The 1980 certificate, signed by the Deputy Director GS of the Institute of Space Research, authorized field teams to collect data on anomalous atmospheric phenomena, requesting cooperation from, quote, all party scientific and military organizations. The Thread 3 documents represent the mature phase of this research, documenting the program's evolution through several iterations. The military unit numbers appear consistent, showing institutional continuity. The cover page is marked secret, indicates these remain classified Soviet military research programs. The issuing authority, the document is signed by the Deputy Director G.S. Naramanov, who is identified as a doctor of physical and mathematical sciences. This is one of the last tweets that Gene Sticko put out. Let's get into it. Russian UFO doc drop. This document is a certificate from the Institute of Space Research of the USSR Academy of Sciences. This is part of the same Soviet institutional research program into AAP. George Knapp testified. This is what we just talked about. So let's get into the document itself. Here is the document itself. From the Academy of Sciences, USSR, Institute of Space Research, or basically he is going and translating the text that's there. Gives us the research and phone number. Certificate. This is to certify that the implementation of a directive decision, a field group under the supervision of the Institute for Space Research of the USSR Academy of Sciences, is conducting operations to collect information about observed anomalous phenomena in the lower layers of the atmosphere. They go on to list the group members, going ahead and saying all parties, scientific and military organizations are requested to provide full assistance to the group in their activities. Signed, the Deputy Director, Institute for Space Research of the USSR Academy of Sciences, Doctor of Physical and Mathematical Sciences, G.S. Naramanov. Jay, what say you on this one? Already?
Do I even want to touch this?
Yeah.
It's saying that they're researching this and they're observing. Wow, it's just a lot. I think Gene might have ran into something that he put out, and somebody said that's enough.
Could be. And that was one of the things that came to me. I guess time will tell to see where it goes. But either way, he was, as people are saying, he's one of the real ones, that he was out there. But it's, it's shocking to say the least.
I got a question.
Yeah.
If there's nothing to this, why would he get in trouble for posting that?
I mean, immediately.
What kind of says there's something more to the things that he's been bringing out than we all realize.
I mean, he posts this and then his account goes down. So it's kind of suspicious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd have to say so. All right, let's see what else we've got going on here. Talked about that one. All right, so something else that's out there. Let's bring up this next one coming to us from the UAP Reporting Center over on X. Let's get to this one here. Ex-CIA pilot said the U.S. buried an enormous UFO that is too big to move. Who does that sound like? This corroborates what journalist Ross Coulhart's claimed. Lear's claims are confusing, but the fact that this correlates with what Ross said is pretty interesting. And if I look down to this, I think somewhere in here, let me go back from here. I actually have a bookmark to that location of what they're bringing up. And where are we at? We are in... We're in Utah, I think.
Yep.
Yeah, we're in Utah, just south of Garrison, and what they're pointing at is this giant triangular structure that's out there, saying that there's something buried there, and right at the center is a Desert Research Experimental Station. Not to say this is that craft, but you know what? It does align with what Ross is told. But now, there isn't a building built on top of it, but there is kind of a triangular shape there. Hey, Daryl?
Yeah, but Ross said the where that building was not in the United States.
Right.
So unless Ross got it a little bit wrong, which, you know what? I've learned to find out that he gets things wrong every once in a while.
Not everybody is perfect.
Right.
Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and move on to our next piece. Yes, we've got that one. Okay, this one, you'll get this. I'll probably get killed for this one, but that's okay. The quote is, "I got my dog a button to press when he's hungry. Big mistake. Now I'm his hungry slave." Dogs are always hungry. Come on, little boy. Do it again.
That's it. Now he's just going to appear. Okay.
You've got a dog. You get this, don't you, Daryl?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. My dog will eat whatever.
Yeah, there he goes again. Oh, you gotta love pets. I grab a lot of the stuff. Now, we all heard about Ice Stormageddon going on, eh, Daryl?
Oh, yeah.
This is some of the stuff that was going on. I believe this is down in Nashville, Tennessee. My God, they got wiped out.
Yeah, they actually shut down the tower there, the FAA tower in Nashville early last night.
Yeah, that's a good one. We've got all the ones. More shots of a disaster near Nashville. There's one. Wow. Looks like a tornado, a nice tornado went through there. Holy cow, everything's just destroyed. Trees getting shredded from all different directions. Here's another one just bursting apart at the seams. Here's another picture of just roads being blocked and stuff out there. It's just absolute craziness. Let's see if I've got
It probably sounded like a war going off. You know,
yeah.
They have there's a name for this. I can't remember what they call it, but when trees explode, essentially, due to cold weather. And of course, all those trees cracking and falling down are going to sound.
Oh gosh, yes. Let's see if we got some more pictures down here. I've got some crazy ones. Get past all the things going on. Where are we at? Oh, we'll get to that one. Oh, I gotta get to that one. Thought I had some interesting ones where I had some. Here we go. Some trees shot from the top. Look at that. There's nothing left to split apart in 4 directions, Daryl.
No.
Oh, yeah. That one. Another view.
Hey,
Driving through the area is just completely destroyed. Syrup, go ahead.
is there any kind of conspiracy to this weird weather? Like, is this being manipulated? Is this manipulated weather or anything?
Oh, hell no.
This is just normal.
This is just normal.
Gotcha.
That's only for a slow news day, Syrup.
What was that?
I said that's only for a slow news day.
Yeah.
Okay, got you, man.
Oh, it's not HARP or any of that kind of stuff, but it just shows you. This is just another view of roads being blocked, power lines going down. It's just a complete disaster where they've gotten between 1 to 2 inches of freaking ice in some of these areas, which these trees, a lot of them where you see them all like bending down and stuff, they're damaged for life. A lot of these trees will never recover from this stuff. All right, so we've got those things. Here's another one of the actual North Carolina yesterday as the freezing rain was coming down. And this stuff just adds up more and more and more until the trees just start falling apart. Here's another close-up view of some branches that were out there. Really interesting to say the least. Oh, and what happens with our our poor windmills? Yeah, and solar? Yeah, it kind of falls apart in that respect. But then again, if you look out in Yukon, Canada, they've got a whole big array of windmills, and guess what they're not doing, Daryl? There's no wind. They're not moving.
Yeah, it doesn't blow all the time.
No. Unfortunately,
But you do have to replace those motors in there every 2 to 3 years, and every time you do that, now I'm going back 15 years on this number. It was $50,000 then. If I were to guess, it's probably $100,000 now. And that's every 2 or 3 years, so it just adds more to the inefficiency of the whole idea.
They're very expensive, my friend, to say the absolute least. Now, I do have a little clip here coming in from Matt Laszlo, talking with Representative Andre Carson, who was curious and inquisitive about the underwater alien theories in the age of disclosure. Let's go ahead and play this clip coming in from Matt Laszlo. It's been a while since we've heard from Matt. Let's see what we're going to get come across right now. Let me just play this audio clip. Here we go.
Just rewatched that documentary, Age of Disclosure, and you got some interesting comments in there about the underwater stuff. What do you know about the underwater stuff?
There are a lot of theories out there that have yet to be explored, you know?
Yeah, but you're like versed on them.
No, I'm just curious and inquisitive like everyone else, you know?
Have you watched that?
Oh, yes, yeah.
What do you make of it?
I thought it was a phenomenal piece. I think my favorite part was dealing with the bubbles surrounding the aircraft. You remember that part?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Which prevents radar detection. Yeah, that was the most fascinating part for me.
Are you guys looking into that or anything?
Stay tuned, my brother.
Just rewatch.
So there you go. Some information, but not a lot. Very cryptic words coming from Andre Carson. Interesting about Representative Andre Carson. He's the guy who actually chaired the first UAPTF hearing when the Democrats held the House.
Indiana.
Yeah, and he's a Hoosier, huh?
He is. And I imagine on this day, he was probably happy to get any question other than, do you think it was murder or do you think it was...
Oh, my God.
I could just tell he was a little relieved. He was like, are you going to ask me? Oh, good. Thank God it's a UFO question.
Oh, God, yeah, exactly. With all the shit that's been going on, it's been crazier than... Well, I guess we'll leave it at that at this point. Got the dog taken care of. We've got that one. We don't need to show that one. All right, I've got a short little clip coming from Maria Bartiromo. I think this was on this Sunday morning. Let's go ahead and play it. They've got Mike Turner in here asking about, Grush and human biologics. This could be an older clip, but a bunch of people, including the UAP Reporting Center, had this on X today. So either way, even if it's a classic, let's go ahead and listen to our dear friend, Mr. Mike Turner, who's funded by the military-industrial complex. Let's get to it. Here we go.
Wow. Congressman, what can you tell us about this? Non-human biologics?
Maria, I always love it when you have somebody who comes forward and testifies about things that they don't know anything about. I mean, the most, I think, striking aspect of all of the testimony was repeatedly over and over again, the whistleblowers had to say, actually, I don't have any knowledge of this. Somebody else told me that. I mean, really, this would take thousands and thousands of people for such an unbelievable cover-up to be occurring. And for people to speak with such confidence over something that they do not know is, I think, something certainly everybody needs to be concerned about.
So aliens are not on Earth then?
Maria, I certainly can't tell you that there are no aliens here. I can tell you that certainly there's no evidence that what the gentleman is testifying about, he said himself personally, he has no direct knowledge of.
So he has no direct knowledge of it. I guess this is going back to Grush, but still interesting to say the least. Let's go ahead and see what other bookmarks we've got going on here in my list. All right, happening in the UK. British mother arrested for social media posts. Anyone who protests, anyone who complains, anyone who speaks out is now a target. The post she made is on the right. Disgusting this is happening in supposedly a free country. The UK people live in a police state. Here is the mother, and more importantly, here is the post. Protect our children and their future, and they're holding a flag around them. Daryl, does this look like it's criminal to you?
Yes. Why aren't those kids working? No, and I have no idea why that's criminal. Protect our children.
Yeah.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
Oh my God, they have their kids out there and they're not wearing any clothes underneath those darn flags.
Yeah, I know.
Take them to jail.
It might have been the hat. Make Britain great again.
Yeah. Meanwhile, this was earlier today. Lines began forming in Calgary, Alberta to demand that Alberta secedes. It's only 12 o'clock. Word is in their initial signing today, they got over 1,000 signatures this morning, and they're coming back yet again tonight to go ahead and get the signatures. While people on one side say they're not going to be able to get it, it's never going to happen, there is a huge upwelling of individuals within Alberta that say that they don't want to be part of the United States. They want to be on their own. They're tired of the ruling that's coming out of the party, the Liberal Party, like Carney, who's running the government right now. So we'll see where everything goes. They have this right within their constitution to go ahead and say that if they want to go ahead and file for, independence, all the better, Daryl, eh?
Yeah, I mean, at least the people get a say. As I'm sitting here looking at this, I'm like, why don't? No, we can say this for later, but it would be great if people would do something like this more often when they disagree with something the government is putting forward. Hey, put your name on a list. Then everybody, they can send that list of 100,000 people to CNN, NBC, Fox, whoever, and they can say, look, the people say we want to do this.
Exactly.
And there's your statement versus going out and getting people killed.
Exactly. Let's get past this stuff. I don't need to see that. All right. Just going ahead and showing it. Coming from CNN, running the numbers in the United States. I know this is a topic that hits people on both sides of it. I'll stay in the middle on this one. From the latest surveys coming from the New York Times, 55% of all people say deport all immigrants that are here illegally. Marquette's survey, 64% in favor. CBS News, 57% in favor. ABC News, 56% in favor. Yet, all the news on the left acts like that this is not what the American people want. Daryl, from the right, what side do you think?
Deport all immigrants here illegally. I kind of fell off on the whole 24 to 25 polling down there. What does that mean?
That's polling from 2024 through 2025. So it's not in 2026 yet.
Right. So I would agree. That's probably, if they're trying to make a point here that people were really in favor of deporting illegal immigrants before...
an overwhelming majority.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, what else do we have?
I think there's some polling out today in the last couple of days probably that breaks that down further to has Trump gone too far, or has ICE gone too far? Has ICE done enough, or has ICE not gone far enough? That might actually be a good poll for here.
Yeah, it could be. Part of the problem is that, what was it, 4 to 5 million people that Obama during his administration deported, and he said if they're here illegally, we're gonna send them back. Where he actually had CNN on Raised with ICE going ahead and detaining people that were being shipped out.
Hey, your president that you voted for 2 times had 8 years to get those numbers together. We're just getting going in the second term of Trump. And when I say we, I mean...
You mean me voting for Obama back then? Yeah, I had voted for Obama. I'll admit it.
No, I know you said so earlier. I did too.
Yeah.
I don't think that's an indictment of either one of us. I just think it shows that, depending on what's going on, I've been kind of center Democrat growing up my whole life. But the problem is, being in the center where I'm at, the Democrat Party has moved way far left. Yeah, and I think as you get older, you figure out, man, if you don't pull a straight line party ticket to try and curb the things that are going on in the world, in your world, in America, then, you're really defeating. I mean, you have to take the bitter with the positive, I think, sometimes.
Yeah. Now, this is something we could all get into. In the United Kingdom, Nigel Farage, who's the leader of the Reform Party, says it's outrageous that illegal immigrants are given priority for housing and funding and medical over our own veterans. Reform UK will put our own people first. Let's see what Nigel has to say. This is just happening worldwide right now.
How can it be that somebody who enters our country illegally, having destroyed their identity documents is a higher priority for housing than a former serviceman or woman who has fallen on hard times. It's outrageous, it's wrong, and it's time to start putting our own people and our own veterans community first. And we must do that. And we must do that. And we will do that.
And I don't think that's racist or anything wrong to say. It's just...
No, it's becoming. I wish
it's
Andy
common
were in here.
sense.
I wish Andy. Oh, she's in the chat. I'd be curious to know what he thinks about this, because this is what I was saying earlier about having to vote a straight ticket. The more things get out of control because another party's in rule, you got to fucking combat that somehow. And because everything is going in such a negative direction with freedoms in Britain, that guy will be prime minister one day.
Yeah.
And it's because everybody's going to vote to go in the 100%.
We got about 3 years left, unfortunately.
Yeah, but he will be.
Yeah. Changes are happening. Starmer out, which Firefly is saying, a bunch of different stuff. And we're trying to cover things that are happening in Canada, happening in the United States. We're going to be covering things that are going on in Australia, because there's just a lot of travesties. God, I keep on getting into the wrong place here. I got a good bunch of good bookmarks. I just need to stay within it. All right, what else do we have going on here? Move past that. We saw those things. Don't need to see that. Get past that stuff. We got that one. We've got those things. All right, yeah. Seattle #2 for quality of life, but lags on affordability. Yeah. We've destroyed our freaking local people. Let's just say that. All right, coming to us from Mystery Wire. This is just released. New NAP Russia UFO video, rife with evidence, packed with U.S. matching parallels to make the UAP new connection. Hard to call coincidence. The same pattern, different flag. Let's go ahead and play this clip from Mystery Wire. Put on the fair use top. And here we go.
March 1991, radar at the Leningrad airport detects first one, then two, then three unidentified objects hovering over a nuclear plant. From a dead stop, the UFO zipped away at 2,000 miles per hour. The Urals, 1976. A photographer clicks this shot and later provides a more detailed drawing. May 1992, a military team in the Kola Peninsula tapes this spinning object. In Tbilisi, a crew shooting a music video spots this overhead. Today, average Russians are free to discuss UFOs, but it wasn't always so. Through the 50s and 60s, the Kremlin declared UFOs a capitalist creation, thus a non-topic. But behind the scenes, Stalin and other leaders authorized secret UFO studies. Retired Colonel Boris Sokolov commanded such a study for 10 years. The entire Russian military took part. Thousands of reports were generated, but were kept secret until 1993, when Sokolov first spoke to us. The study included 40 incidents of Russian warplanes encountering UFOs. One MiG had its wing damaged in a collision with a UFO. This former pilot says a UFO disabled his plane with a beam of light. In 1982, a UFO hovered over a nuclear missile base in the Ukraine for hours. Unexplainably, codes were entered and the missiles were ready for launch until the UFO vanished. General Igor Maltsev, for 7 years commander of the entire Soviet air defense system, recalls a UFO flap over Moscow in 1990. Hundreds of visual and radar observations by military personnel. Maltsev confirms his standing order was, don't fire on the UFOs, but he declines to say much else. His boss, the former deputy defense minister, declined to speak altogether under orders. And even Sokolov is now reluctant to talk, in part because he was attacked in communist newspapers following our 1993 interview. There's more than one kind of chill in the Moscow air these days.
With the double political whammy of the revived communists and the scary nationalists, the Russian government needs a UFO expose like it needs a red, white, and blue paint job on the Kremlin.
Science has received the message. Individuals and the Russian Academy are now downplaying their long-term studies of UFOs. Oddly, the KGB has opened up, including a release of this long secret film of a UFO. KGB adds it has no...
Well, there you go. Isn't that the pyramid that's over the Kremlin? Jay? I think you've seen this one. I know I have.
Oh, it was in the background or something, and like shadowed over it.
Yeah, but this is like a pyramid-shaped craft that was floating over the Kremlin that looks similar to the same one we had over the Pentagon years ago. Let's play more.
The
ongoing.
Pentagon.
Go ahead, Daryl.
I think it was the Pentagon and the Kremlin. There was some video or some pictures.
Right,
yeah.
here we go.
Interest in flying saucers, although it does have several hundred files.
It's just a question of time. You look good. I'll take you under my wing.
So there we go. Oh, wow. Look at this coming in from someone, Enoch the Witness, in the chat saying, bro, Gene's book website is now down. I just checked twice. It says coming soon on a blank page. He's taken everything down, Daryl.
Yeah, I wonder if your friend Lou could give you any insight.
Yeah. Even taking his book and everything down, that's just...
That's pretty drastic. Something obviously happened, but yeah, I'd be curious to find out if somebody might give us some insight on that.
Check.
Still up on Amazon as a Kindle purchase.
I checked that last night and I saw that was still there. Let me check in Engineering Infinity, see if I can find it. It's still there. EngineeringInfinityBook.com is still up. So that's part of the situation and everything that's there. You know, it's
Did
just
you clear your cache?
Yeah, exactly. What can I find for a video here that go ahead and get to this? Hey, do me a favor. Can you brief the audience again about your thoughts about what's happening in September? I need to step away for about 30 seconds.
Yeah, I sure can. I'm kind of the outcast here in this particular theory. There are some other people around the country that are saying the same thing, but I've been studying ufology and I've been studying end times eschatology for some time, and I was seeing a parallel that was occurring where the acceleration toward disclosure and the Christian rapture appeared to be going in the same direction and going to converge at a single point. I started running this through AI, multiple runs, and it came up with a potential for September of 2026 during the Feast of Trumpets, Israel holiday, believed to be prophetically the last trumpet sounding before return of Christ. So what happens is these two hit together at the same time, if in fact they occur on that day, September the 12th, with the middle of that festival, then what we would see is a bunch of UFOs, UAPs in the skies, and basically bringing us full disclosure at that same time, which would then also be the rapture of the church preceding the tribulation. Now, that's a real quick overview of this theory, and I'm trying to get people who will kind of do some research and help me out on this and gain some extra support for that.
So are you expecting that what happens on September 26th is that, like in the rapture, a select group of people who are believers in Jesus Christ are sucked up out of the planet, right out of their cars, moving down the highway? And is that what you're...
Yeah, that's correct. Now, and that is my belief, and I believe in an inerrant Bible, so that, you know, if it says it in the Bible, I believe it, basically. So, yeah, you're right, Daryl. That would be how we would frame that. Now, let me explain why.
And then that would be the beginning of the end of the world, right?
Absolutely right. Yeah. So don't get a 3-year subscription to anything. Now, what I think what is significant is the fact that if those occurred at the same time, I think the bad guys, that Satan's ships, are going to be up there as a decoy for what's really going on with the rapture. So when all of a sudden people disappear, it's very easy for Satan and the people that stay behind to say, well, those people were not a Christian rapture. That wasn't the rapture. They were abducted by extraterrestrials from, another planet. And that would be the trick that he would be trying to pull over on people. So that's it in a nutshell. You know, I realized that it went kind of quick. And if you're not into understanding some of the Bible verses in Revelation, Thessalonians, and some of the others, those terms may not mean much to you in terms of trying to figure this out. But we'll see. I guess on September the 12th, it's either going to happen or I'm going to be real embarrassed on the next disclosure tonight after that.
Yeah, but you know what? It never hurts to go ahead and take a look out there and throw something out there that you feeling, you know?
Well, that's what I'm doing, and I'm actually gaining some support. Thomas, you may remember when you first ran this as a poll, it was about 40%, I think, of the audience were saying they could buy into this theory. Wasn't it? You call that? That's about a year ago or so, something like that.
What calendar were people on regional hospital? What calendar were people on when Paul wrote Revelations?
John wrote Revelation from.
Sorry.
Yeah, when he was in prison. What calendar were we on at the time? The Gregorian calendar, weren't we?
I don't think so, right? Because that didn't happen until sometime AD, right? I mean, it happened hundreds of years after, I think.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure, but what would be the connection? Where are you going with that, Daryl?
To make sure your September 26th date is right.
Oh, just Google it. Just Google Feast of Trumpets for 2026, and it'll tell you 11 through 13.
Oh, it's based on current day feasting. Okay.
Yeah, that's right. Now, one of the things that a lot of people tell me when they're bucking this thing, they say, well, Jesus told us that no one knows the day or the hour that this would occur except the Father. Not even the Son knows the day or the hour. Well, it's interesting because if you do some research on the Feast of, or the Festival of Trumpets, you'll find that the Trumpet Festival begins when a certain alignment of stars line up just right. And there's the moon's in that too. And it requires 2 priests to confirm that that in fact occurred at that particular time, and that starts the period. That's kind of a weird way of saying it, but basically it is a computed date based upon celestial movements. And if you're not accurate in getting the celestial movement, then you're going to be off on the day.
I can see Prison Films US is going to be left behind. Oh, well.
Well, it's interesting. It keeps me busy in my retirement.
Yeah. Man, well, thanks for explaining that. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Great conversations all around. I do have one last clip to go ahead and play tonight. Let's go ahead and play this. We've got James Fox, who is back in Varginha, Brazil at this point. Let's go ahead and play up this clip of him talking about that there's a landmark sign announcing the route of an extraterrestrial being coming to this hospital. Check it out. Let's see what he has to say on this. Let me get this video clip up. Desktop Thomas. All right, here we go. We got James Fox from his official account over on X. Let's play this clip and see where James takes us. Turn off the fair use. All right, here we go.
Okay, we are coming up on Regional Hospital, and I wanted to show this sign right here, which is right in front of the hospital. You can see X Regional Hospital. Alini, can you read that, just the basics?
Yes. On the night of 20th of January 1996, 2 policemen arrived at Regional Hospital in Varginha, bringing to care the creature that they had captured moments before. Supposedly, one area of the institution remained isolated as soon as they received the creature. However, this creature stayed for very little time in this hospital, later being transferred to another institution.
Right there, in plain sight. Incredible.
So there you go. It's out there in the public. Are you surprised, Daryl?
No, because I saw this before today.
Yeah. Well, one thing that did surprise me today, I know we don't cover the trolls around here enough for the different things that are going on. This is where the shit's going on X. This is why I stay away from X. Why I repost pictures of Aurora Borealis and other stuff, because they've gone fucking batshit crazy. What am I talking about? What's the latest conversation on X today? Oh, you're going to love this one, my friends. Here we go. Tupacabra. Is Lou Elizondo actually honeypotting vulnerable men into a gay satanic cult.
Oh my god!
Oh my god!
What kind of drugs is this guy on, man?
No, but they say, you know what?
mind?
We had someone tell us this is what's going on, so we're running with it. Not that they validate their source or anything.
So what is he doing? I'm lost.
What was that again?
What is he trying to say he's doing? He's honeypotting what?
He's honeypotting vulnerable men, gay men, into a gay satanic cult.
Oh, that sounds like some Stephen Greer shit.
They're trying to say that Lou looks gay. He doesn't look like a straight guy. And then he's going and honeypotting, trying to lead these other gay people in to go and be in some kind of gay sexual cult.
I think the movie would be interesting, but I don't believe that. No.
Do you think he's being serious when he posts that?
Oh, they're serious. They talked about it for hours today. Hours on end. Well,
oh my god.
Talking about things that are crazy. Well, this one's not as crazy. We've got a strange spinning object that was filmed in Green Valley, Illinois, back in September of 2024. And I have to say, this one looks different, and I kind of like it a little bit. Let me get this up here. It goes on for 50 seconds. Let me go ahead and bring this one up for us to check out. This is coming to us from the Skywatch signal over on X. Came to us from Reddit, but you've got an object that looks kind of like a boomerang or Pac-Man there. You know what I don't like about it, though? There's a noise that coincides with it spinning that sounds like a cricket.
Cricket?
What the fuck is that?
You don't think, Thomas, the low... No, never mind. I was going to say low frame rate, making the...
No, the frame rate's not too bad. There they are.
A star in the sky. It ain't a star. And it's moving.
And it's not Samsung AI going and replacing it.
Right. Interesting.
And the video goes on for 50 seconds.
What the fuck?
What happens here at the end?
Well, it'll probably just end. There you go.
Shit.
Honestly, if I was recording that,
I'd go through all the way.
I keep on recording that until my battery died.
Right.
So why is it dies in 50 seconds? It's not a helicopter, as the audience is saying. No. I don't think it's a life form, but it definitely looks like something that's spinning.
It caught his eye from a good distance, too.
Yeah. Well, it's the only thing out in the sky if you look at it, and it is kind of bright.
Surprise thing in the sky.
Yeah. And you know what? He could be in a field where there's crickets, and it's just the crickets that are going that goes along with the same rotational speed of the object. No, Nathan, it's her IUD. It escaped.
It's an inter-universe device. We only take it to fly inside the universe.
We're trying to... it's trying to prevent her from procreating.
That would be for a really large woman, I would presume.
Plenty of parking space.
What the fuck is that?
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, that's another thing we've got out there. All right. Remember those UFOs? We had the images of them, of the video that was going in over Maryland, just to the north of D.C. from Greg O'Brien. Oh shit! Where'd it go?
Yes.
This is an animation that was done by IBM. Those are this is a scanning tunnel microscope. This is IBM released the world's smallest movie by moving 65 atoms frame by frame back in 2013. So they actually move the atoms around from frame to frame to frame. And I'll just play this to go ahead and create this animation of this guy jumping, walking and jumping, throwing something, looking, blinking the eyes, walking across, and moving. Now, one thing I want to show is look at when the arms are in these positions, right? And off to the sides, what do you see in the area surrounding the object? A grid pattern, like we saw surrounding that craft. Also in different places, you're seeing it. When it's a bunch of verticals, you're getting that same vertical pattern like a washboard that's almost showing up.
So a bunch of highly charged electrons in the sky.
I don't know. But what I'm doing is I'm just trying to pointing out similarities between an effect you see of them actually using an electron microscope, which is something that's blowing something up. You see the object that's there, but in the area around the object, you're getting an interference pattern. And what we're seeing, though, granted these are just individual atoms lined up to do this, it's causing an interference pattern in the space around it. So Miss Cussout gets it. It's a similar interference pattern. Whether it's like a hypersonic goo is saying electrons give off magnetic waves.
Yeah, I can see that. It's interesting.
So again, this is me just kind of looking at the pattern that goes around the object when we were seeing these things and seeing it repeating, that I've never seen anything similar that created a pattern like we're seeing here that matches it. That's all. What's the old saying? Patterns tell stories?
Yeah, and if you can arrange those electrons like that, you can make a very dense thing.
Right. But you can also create that interference pattern around it. So granted, this is on an atomic scale, but remember, things scale, right? We'll see effects down here, and the same effects we'll see larger up. You never know. All right, what else we got? Yeah.
Their electron man doesn't have a nose. That's interesting.
Yeah, exactly. Let's no, not that one. We talked about that one. We didn't talk about that. Oh, we didn't talk about that shit last night. What a mess. What a mess up in Minneapolis. What a fucking mess. I got a bunch of videos on it. We'll have to go ahead and talk about that on a different show without pissing off our audience. But we want people from both sides of the fence, not just one side or the other. We have to have, coverage. So if you're someone who's on the left, but wait a minute, Syrup, you're here.
Michael Sokoloff's in here.
Yeah.
Isn't he in here? Yeah.
Yeah.
Point, counterpoint.
Yeah, because you can't go at it one way or the other. So we're going to have to figure out how to come together to talk about some of these things. Because the stuff that was going on... Okay, here's the one clip. This is the Hilton Hotel in Minneapolis, right?
Yep.
Turn off the audio. And they're breaking through the glass. They're breaking the doors, and you can see people trying to shove and move rolling refrigerators and stuff to keep the people out.
That didn't work out too well, by the way.
No.
That thing got pushed out into the street, and people had a free meal.
Yeah. But then... Oh, forget about that. Oh, yeah, by the way, we talked about those green batteries. They all need cobalt, right? So there you go for net zero. That's how we mine cobalt in Africa.
Really?
A lot of child labor, too, unbelievably. That's in the Congo, I believe. Yeah, the Congo. All right, so let's get back to, oh, God, more stuff about the UK. Let's move right from there. All right, so we had this shit last night, a bunch of protesters that were there, and then the police wouldn't show up. And then you've got... there were a couple National Guard that were there, and they had bricks thrown at them and other stuff. Their hands are all cut up from the glass and stuff, and everything's going on. they called for backup, right? From the police, and the police wouldn't show up. They were alone for like, an hour plus or something like that going on. They're trying to hold back the crowd and what's happening. You go from this one to then an hour later, finally 100 police officers leaving the area after they came in. But it's like, where were they for that longest period of time? Here's another shot as the reinforcements arrived.
This is how you roll up to a thing, by the way.
Yeah.
The Bearcat just came like running over shit in the street.
Yeah.
Clearing the way.
So eventually the police did come, but it's like for the longest time, there's actually supposedly there's scripts and different things in play that they've given to the 911 operators.
I don't think the Bearcat was the police. I think that was those are federal officers.
No, reinforcements arrived. Many police and Minneapolis State or Minnesota State Patrol are deploying flashbangs and tear gas to drive out the anti-ICE activists. Michael, go ahead.
It's all AI, fake news.
No, this is real. This is from last night.
I was watching it live.
Yeah.
And what I have a question is, why aren't those guys wearing gloves? You can wear protective gloves that still allow your hands to manipulate.
I don't know.
Should be wearing gloves.
Well, yeah, they deployed real. They probably weren't planning on this going on potentially.
Yeah, there shouldn't be people breaking down the front door of the Hilton Garden Inn in downtown Minneapolis.
No, that's fake AI stuff.
No, this is real. This is real, Michael.
No, fake AI.
Okay. So this is fake AI of the police running away too, and the flashbangs and everything.
If Trump can say it's fake news, so can I. It's fake news.
That's fine. Everyone sees things through a different lens. Sarah, what do you think?
I just not jumped on.
This guy here,
going on?
This guy in yellow, he has gloves on.
He's from the local police. He's from the police itself, not guys who were woken out of their rooms because their hotel was being attacked. Different groups of people. Remember, it took them an hour to get there, so they had plenty of time to go ahead and suit up and equip themselves.
They've got their safety gloves on. What the hell? So
no, but Thomas's point was they were attacking because they knew they were ICE officers staying there. So these guys got out of bed, woken up out of bed, hearing that the hotel was the fire alarm was going off.
So yeah, bunch of stuff going on last night. Matt, go ahead.
So I got a question. So we're not worried about the buildings getting kicked in, even if they weren't, if it was AI, but there is damage to the buildings. But we're more worried about it being AI than what's actually going on.
No, Michael was just messing around. He wasn't serious.
Well, I'm just saying there is a narrative. There is a narrative where people do say that, and but Mike brought it to light. It's just like
heavy machinery to move.
What do we do if this is in your neighborhood? What do you do?
Well, yeah. I don't know, man. I don't see this. I don't see this happening in my neighborhood. I'm kind of marked.
If this happens in my neighborhood, you better stay off the yard.
No one will believe you.
What side you're on? Stay off
Same
the
with
yard.
UFOs. No one believes UFOs unless you got good video. So,
But if you have multiple video cameras from multiple people who are all at the same event,
you get a better story.
Yeah, and that's what we're looking at. It's not the same person. It's a bunch of different camera people who are having stuff. Ed, you have your hand up?
Every time someone calls these peaceful protests, I get so frustrated because if peaceful means you can break the door down to this hotel and ransack that and destroy 5 or 6 cruisers, hey, my tax dollars, federal tax dollars, pay to buy federal cruisers. You know, and it's just so frustrating that they're doing so much damage to property, and we as taxpayers are paying for it.
Well, I mean, the ICE agents are doing damage to people's property as well. They're kicking in the wrong doors to people without warrants.
Well,
and the suspects aren't even there.
This mess wouldn't be there if you didn't have ICE agents shooting American citizens.
Oh gosh, have you heard that they've actually been going through the funding that's coming out of it, and they're finding a bunch of high profile, some of the top funders are coming out of Canada. What do you think about
There's
that,
a
Mike?
reason why this hasn't been a problem in the 8 other major cities they've been to. It's because the local police go with them to handle crowd control. Very simple. They're not doing that in Minneapolis because they are a self-declared sanctuary city. So we got to fight for words, everybody.
And to your point on that too, is that there has to be synchrony in law, whether it's agreed upon or not. Law should be law. You know what I mean? So if you say you're illegally in a country, well, you're breaking the law.
Subverting the law at the very least in a lot of cases. So it is curious, just to move on from this being a polarizing moment in the show, just to move on a little bit. Trump did say that he had a great call with Tim Walz and Small Fry today. So there's that.
Well, some of the latest thing that I've seen, they've actually been starting and going tonight in Minneapolis. This is 21 hours ago. 21 hours ago. 21 hours ago. No, there's nothing recent on this. I'll have to go ahead and double check my footage off air. Let me just find out where in the hell I should be at right now. Studio, no.
But I'm with a lot of people in the chat. I'm tired of people giving me their opinion on what happened. I mean, okay, you've got your opinion and it changes every single day. I mean, as to what happened and what, can we just agree to wait until we know all the facts are laid bare? And, it's just nobody was there. Nobody was in the scrum.
Kind of like how we do with the UFO subject, right, Daryl?
What's that? Put it all off?
Yeah, just put it all off.
Here we go. Happening in Calgary right now. A rally is underway an hour ago. Standing room only. Huge turnout for Alberta independence. It's a packed house. Standing room only.
Who's the headliner?
Independence in Alberta. From
who's the headliner? Who did everybody turn out to see?
No one.
Oh, they just came to vote?
They came to sign a petition and listen about.
Oh.
Yeah.
Dude, I think this is revolutionary. Signing petitions. It's a good idea.
They need to get 1 million signatures to be able to get it on the ballot to vote whether or not they want to secede from Canada.
Of course, there's probably an easier way than getting everybody together, but I mean, this is a good start.
No, but they're doing it every day. There were 1,000 signatures that were almost close to 1,000 signatures this morning.
I thought it was 175,000. And the population of Alberta is, I can't remember.
Okay, I probably counted the right. Maybe it is 175,000, but they're getting, several thousand signatures, per location per day. And based on the estimates, they are saying that they'll have no problem hitting the required amounts for the signatures.
I don't know whoever said that they wouldn't get it on the ballot. But regardless, if it goes on the ballot, it's going to get overthrown.
We'll see where it goes.
Darren articulately said this the other night. People that live in Alberta know how people vote, and they're not going to separate. I can tell you that right now. They're not going to vote for it.
Okay. Time will tell.
They go through the motions, and they're just doing it. The conservatives will.
Everyone has things that talks about whether or not we're going to see stuff in September. You're saying this isn't going to happen. We all see things, through a different lens. But all I'm saying is there's a lot of people coming together. This doesn't seem like something that's losing steam. It looks like it's something that's gaining steam. And we're going to keep on covering this.
I know one thing for absolutely sure. The Liberals will be lucky if they get 1 or 2 seats in the next provincial election.
And by the way, all these people are AI'd in here. There was actually nobody here.
There you go.
Yeah. right, what else we've got going on? Here's another shot of it. There we go, another camera angle from another person. Showing what's happening in Canada. Today, Attorney General Nick Brown and I signed, a letter to send to Kristi Noem. We urge ICE. So this is the crooked politicians from Washington State. That's our governor.
I watched this press conference today with these two.
Yeah.
I needed a barf bag.
Yeah. Washington is lost. We're so fucked. I came here. It was so much cheaper than California when I moved here in 97. But it's not anymore. It's not. And the taxes are freaking crazy.
You guys probably have a lot of fraud, I'd bet, in Washington State.
Yeah, but the politicians have come out and said, we're not going to go ahead and investigate any fraud because it's racist.
Of course it is.
So investigating fraud is now racist.
Because there isn't any fraud, so they're blaming something else on it.
Dude, I did business with the state of Washington. My company, I don't want to get into the details, but essentially every long-term living center, we had one member of our staff go to them. And I can tell you, just through the process of dealing with the state, it was... There are so many loopholes, and we could have milked that for millions of dollars. The contract that we had.
Oh yeah, that's what Washington's there coming for another one. Just an hour ago, anti-ICE protesters throw snowballs as police and riot gear arrive in the Spring Hill Suites in Minneapolis, where protesters say Greg Bovino of CBP is staying.
So did they enforce the
Wow, sounds like a party.
Did they import the snowballs from Canada?
No, unfortunately, I think they've got enough there at this point.
If Toronto gets 2 inches of snow, they're all they don't know what to do.
Yeah.
But I hear now that they've got like a foot of snow.
Yeah.
And they're socked in. Nobody's going anywhere. They don't have winter tires. They don't have 4x4s. They don't have rednecks like the ones in Alberta.
Yeah.
They don't have, they got a few plows. That's about it.
Right.
This is what you get with global warming.
Hey, we got another clip. This looks like a different event.
Here's an Alberta flag.
Yeah, this is Alberta separation. This is from Rebel News. Let's see what else is going on. I'm just going through the latest stuff. Oh, there we go. The Spring Hill Suites. It looks like they're playing music. Let's listen in. Expensive music, though. That's just bullshit. Why are they attacking Marriott's hotel? You know who's going to have to pay for this? The insurance companies. And who pays for the insurance? All the people who buy insurance because they have to raise the rates.
Yeah. Another thing about this is I'm not sure if Marriott does this the same way Hilton does, but
they license it.
Yeah, there's people there that own this hotel.
Yeah.
So you're just hurting the local economy. I mean, that guy, whoever owns that place, is not going to be contributing to the local economy.
Of course not.
So you're fucking yourself.
Yeah, it's like a McDonald's. It's a franchise. That's why you saw when some of the hotels, when they refused ICE to stay there, they took down the Hilton sign the next day because Hilton pulled their franchise.
Right.
Well, here's another event of the thing. It's thousands here gather in Calgary's independence petition signing. So yeah, it's taken off. It's not dying out. Okay, growing mushrooms on your feed. Don't need to see that or anything else. God, no. All right, Richard Dolan, what does he have to say? He recounts a tragic 1948 Mantell incident where a pilot died while pursuing an unidentified object. Let's see what Richard has to tell us on this one.
But we had all kinds of military engagements throughout that year, not just Washington, D.C. Pilots were frequently being ordered to intercept and sometimes lost. A few years back in 1948 was the famous Mantell incident. Thomas Mantell pursued what he believed was a metallic disc-shaped object that ended in his crash and his death. Here's Edward Ruppelt and his book, Report on Unidentified Flying Objects.
So there you go, a little clip. I'm just going through some of the latest stuff I've got here of what's happening around the world. I've got a pretty good feed. Ooh, that doesn't look fun. Dogs, of course. Anything else? No, I think we've got it. Let me go for the following really quick. Anything new popping up? Police outside the Marriott, where we just saw the people going crazy. And pushed back. People are getting pushed back from the hotel. Law enforcement is coming out into the Spring Hill seats where they just saw them making noise. And look at that, the snow's back. It's about time. All right. More at the Spring Hill Suites. I think we about covered everything. Object thrown to police in Maple Grove, Minnesota. Yeah, throwing shit. They've got wood. Fucking crazies. On that note, I think we about covered everything tonight and a bit more. Daryl, did you have a good time?
It's a great time. Always a great time. I look forward to it every time. So many times.
Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate it. We try to do our best here at Disclosure tonight. Remember, if you've been watching so long, having a good time, you haven't given us a thumbs up yet, please do so. If you haven't gone ahead and given us a subscribe, we'd love to have you as a regular here on Disclosure tonight. We're a fan-funded program. We appreciate everybody's love and support. Oh, I have the sound effects here? Yeah. Yeah, it's been a great day. Happy Monday, everybody. Hopefully they had a good time. Yeah, we went a full 2 hours and a little bit longer. It's a good time. Appreciate everybody coming out. We'll be back on Friday, hopefully for some more UFO news. And if not, we'll be covering some more international events. We'll be pushing it towards a little bit into Late Night Update, which gets away from just UFOs because, well, things are getting slow out there. We're talking about stuff, but it's nothing legendary yet. We hope it gets there. On that note, I want to thank everybody for coming out to this episode of Disclosure tonight. And as we usually say, eyes open, no fear, be safe, everybody. But
go back to Party City where you belong.
Absolutely. And we'll catch you on the flip side. Good night, everybody. See you soon. Bye-bye.